Welcome back to the Dawn of the Zeds playthrough. We're about to begin turn 14. Things are not looking great. But of course we have an event happening, so let's find out what it is. Oh joy. Well, I knew this card was eventually coming, and here it is. Without going into all the details of the text here, I will sum it up very briefly. It's the Brains card. Basically what it means is every Zed unit gets to move. If they attack and defeat, if they attack and win a combat, and there is a friendly unit in the next space up the highway track towards the town center, they will attack again. And on and on and on until there's either no one left to attack, then they stop moving. So that's the gist of it. This is, well, as I knew it was going to happen, not a very good situation. Our only saving grace a little bit is we do not have any Zeds on the suburbs track, and we have no Zeds on the highway track, so obviously there will be no Zed movement there. I'm going to start right off. We'll just do the tunnels. We'll save the forest for last because I'm pretty sure that's going to be the ugliest. So first of all, we're going to see if this Zed unit even moves. So we roll a 6-sided dice in the tunnel track, and it's a 1, which is not good, I don't think. If we look at a 1, they move normally. So they move into Dr. Martus's office. They're a strength 7. Our Green Diamond security guards are strength 4. The infection level will rise to 8 for the hand-to-hand combat. And the Zeds are greater than. However, because we're in a named space, they get a 1 shift down. So we will actually be looking at the equal 2 table. So let's see how the Green Diamond security guards do. A 4. Oh, well, I like that. On the even table, if we roll a 4 on the combat, wow, the attacking Zeds take 3 hits. And the defenders take none. So boy, we got lucky there. This Zed unit is flipped over for 3 hits. They retreat back into the catacombs with Dr. Martus, and the Green Diamond security guards are not affected. So that was good. Good news there. Next we're going to do the mountain track. And this 2-strength Zed unit is moving up into Lefty's Pass with a 2-strength civilian unit. Now they both only have 1 hit left, and that will be the end of them. However, if you look at our infection track, it's really climbing steeply. We're at 9 for this hand-to-hand combat. Let's have a look and see how the Lefty's Pass civilians do in this combat. An 8. Well, let's have a look over here on the combat table. Sorry, they were equal strength, but you shift 1 down, so we're going to look at the less than table. And we are looking at an 8. And it looks like mutual annihilation. 2 hits for the Zeds, 2 hits for the civilians, and it just basically, the Zed unit is destroyed and gone back to the bag. And unfortunately our civilian unit is also destroyed. And they end up going over to the hospital space on their weakened state. So I have 2 civilian units in the hospital now. And I do believe that these villagers don't turn into refugees because there's no Zed unit in the area. So they will just remain there. This track is now clear of Zeds. Now for of course, the most exciting part is the Zed unit up in the forest track. Boy, this forest track has just been a nightmare. The first thing that's going to happen is this 4-strength unit with the leader Zed is moving out of the farm space, and the barricade is destroyed. Because when Zed units leave a space with a barricade, the barricade is destroyed. Now they are twice the strength of the well-armed civilians. So we're on the combat table, we're going to have to look at the double, but we will shift 1 down for well-armed, but we also have to shift 1 up for the Zed leader. So that's going to be a straight double table roll, and you just know this is not going to end well. Oh, and before we roll the dice, of course, hand-to-hand combat, we're at a 10+. We can't get any higher on the infection level, so I don't think we're going to have to worry about that anymore this turn. So let's see what happens with this combat. It's a 6. Well, that's not a bad number, but I think we're done. So if we look at the double table, if we roll a 6, indeed, the attacking Zed units take 1 hit, and the defenders, our civilians, take 2. Well, it was a nice try, well-armed civilians, but they don't have any arms left. No pun intended. Actually, the pun was intended. They are destroyed. Off to the hospital they go. And this unit, Zed unit, takes 1 hit. So they are still 4 strength, 2 hits now with the zombie leader. And as per the card rules, the brains rule, if there is a friendly unit, which happens to be these poor civilians on the next track up towards town center, the Zeds move again. So they move into this space and they have themselves a nice refugee snack. Now this is completely removed from the game. And that's going to end their movement. They are now only 2 spaces away from town center, which is starting to look pretty threatening. And of course these units move up to the farm, and there's nobody for them to attack. So that takes care of all of the attacks. That is basically the brains card coming to an end. And as you can see here, we're at a 10 plus infection rate now. Now, with the civilians being, or sorry, the refugees being eaten by the Zed unit, the infection track would in fact move up 2 spaces, but we're already at 10 plus, so it's not going to go any higher than that. So guess what will happen next turn? Likely an outbreak. So that concludes the brains card, and I'll just put it here a little bit. See, if you want to read all the text on it, you can. And that, wow, that is the end of turn 14, and of course we get no actions because it's the brain card. Join me next time for turn 15.